Hi, do you know how to use industrial machine to sew leather? Do you know that there are possibly 3 different feet to use? Well, we're gonna check which one is the best. Stay tuned and watch this video if you want to know. Now we have here industrial lock stitch. I'm using this machine for obviously for fabric sewing, for all my tailoring, dressmaking and couture work I do. But I'm gonna show you how to set up for light leathers for quite nice up to the weight we doing all our tutorials on, which is nice Napa leather. Now you have to bear in mind that every machine is different. Every machine gonna cope with leather differently, but there are tricks to kind of check how far particular machine can go, where it feels comfortable. I'm gonna use a Gutermann size, what is it, 70 Mara. Okay, 70 means it's still thin. It's very strong thread. I cannot break it, literally I cannot. Nearly cut my finger. So they are quite strong. So any 70, 80, 40 and 30 Mara threads are alright from Gutermann. They're very strong, nice threads. And also, if you don't have leather needle, sorry, which is normal the knife point, I showed it on domestic, then you can use this specialized titanium needles. Right now I inserted that gold titanium needle. I love them because in case of breaking, the titanium doesn't break, it bends. Okay, it's still sharp because this is a sharp end needle. It should go nicely through the soft leathers. Shouldn't be any problem there. So now I'm gonna thread my machine, and next thing which I'm gonna say, obviously we're gonna change the foot. Right now I've got a normal metal foot, the basic one, yeah, and I'm gonna change to the Teflon foot. So I inserted my foot easily because I've got that spring screw. Another thing which I would do before I start with a leather is actually lifting up my foot pressure. I know that goes against everyone's logic, but that's actually what you have to do in normal industrial machines. The more you loosen up that pressure, the smoother your machine gonna go on leather. So I'm lifting quite a lot to allow the space under my foot, and the pressure should be a bit different. It also helps if you could change your feeding dogs for the sharper and taller. Unfortunately I don't have anything to change, but mine are quite sharp and quite high anyway, but that's another adjustment you would check if anything. But it's not really necessary. Normal average setting of that feed dogs should be alright. What is actually important, it is to lift that foot pressure. Okay, so another thing what I would set is obviously my stitch length. I was just sewing fine fabric, so it was 2.5 millimeters. Now I would rather go again for 3.5, 4. Again, depends on the machine and how they're really coping with adjustment here, because it's not always corresponding to 4 millimeters or 3 millimeters, so you should know your machine better. Now another thing, obviously we have the same thread in the bobbin as from the top, so it's on both is the same Mara 70 in my case. Now let's see how the Teflon Foot is coping with altogether like 2mm leather. So we're doing our normal seams as we would set up. It's quite doing well. It's pulling quite nicely. It's not struggling, it's very happy. So the Teflon Foot is happy. So the stitch is normal, nice and normal. I'm using lighter thread again for you to see it, how it copes. So let's see if it's gonna work, if we're gonna close the seam and put whole seam one side. Yeah, it looks it's not struggling. It's still fine. Well, it's only difference that I've got now on 4mm stitch length, and only thing I'm gonna agree, this is not 4mm. This is like 3 or less. Okay, so it coped like that, and let's now check if it's gonna work with double of that thickness. I'm gonna try to stitch it on the edge, and that would be kind of like bug out edge. Yeah, it's happily working on that too. So basically the Teflon Foot might be just enough for you to make, you know, quite thick layer of leather, and it's still coping. Yeah, it's always an adjustment on your own machine, knowing your own machine how well it's gonna cope with it. Now actually what I want to show you on the other side, when it's already too thick, you can start seeing markings of your teeth. To prevent that, you can put a paper underneath, and that's gonna help you to slide easier and prevent from machine leaving these markings on your leather. That's the bottom side of when I was stitching, so that's downside of it. So because I didn't put all my screw up here, hold that screw up, you can still undo it and release the pressure. That should reduce that mark on your leather. Another foot which is recommended for sewing leather on industrial dog stitch machine is that funny looking plastic foot with 2 attached rings, which they going into these little channels over there, and that's supposed to roll around and work. I pre-folded that previous leather we were doing, and let's see if it's gonna run on actually folded 1, 2, 3 layers of this leather. Let's see if it's gonna work on it. It looks like it slides, but it doesn't roll always these wheels or whatever you call them. So right now that one is working and that one is not. Personally, I really don't like this. It is working, is pulling leather nicely. But what I don't like that I actually don't see nothing here. What's going on? The wheels are getting into my view. So yeah, alright, it is working, it's stitching. But it's quite difficult to see what you're doing. It gives you nice stitches though. Yeah, so in that one, you literally got 4mm top length stitch, where the Teflon Foot worked nicely, but it reduced the size of the top stitching. So yeah, you might be fan of this foot as well, and you may try for your industrial machine to use the one with a rolling circles around. That is usually said as a leather. So, and PVC, people sewing PVC with that as well. Obviously, because I've got walking foot industrial machine, I don't use that, but I'm just showing you that is the option as well. And it looks that it works on the quite now few layers of this leather quite happily. Next foot which we're gonna try, which is also recommended to sew leather on industrial lock stitch machines, is a rolling foot attachment, and obviously you've got these little rollers, metal rollers. So let's put it in. I've got two pieces of my leather again. As you can see, they're even. And let's see how this foot behaves. It already slide my leather. Can you see it? So it push the top leather panel off from the other one. It should not happen. That means the machine is not really grabbing the leather. And it kind of stitches in one place where I've got still my 4mm set up on my stitches length. Now it's grabbing, now it's going better, like it's working, but I can feel under my fingers that the top layer is stretching. So I'm gonna try, reduce the pressure of the foot again a bit more. Is that gonna help? No, it feels the same. It feels the same. It's stretched a lot. They were even at the beginning when I start stitching. I'm gonna show you. You can see leather is stretched. All that leather behave funny already. So I really loosen up my foot pressure. Look at that. That's about that much more from what I've got always original in a pressure foot for fabrics or wools or whatever I do. So that is quite high, meaning the foot shouldn't press that much, but it did. It stretched leather a lot. So when I start sewing, it pushed me. Yeah, so that's around 7mm. Then it's stretched over here, and look, that's my top layer of leather. So to be exact, let's cut it off that. Let's check on my centimeters here. That stretch 1.5 centimeters, meaning in other words 3/4 of an inch. That's a lot. You wouldn't like to have that in your garment. Look what's happening here. This is a small piece of leather to just demonstrate to you what attachments do what. So although the weird one with the wheels was funny to look at through and see it where you're going. It wasn't stretching the leather. Teflon Foot wasn't stretching the leather. It was working nice. So the winner is Teflon Foot. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos of how to work with leather, what tricks to use. Please, when you subscribe, press that bell to know when I'm downloading new videos. And if you like it, please leave me the thumbs up. And if you've got any questions, please comment and give me ideas what I can teach you, what you want to know from me. So please feel free always to comment me underneath the videos, any videos you're watching on my channel. Thank you so much. See you next time.